What is going on, guys? It is your boy Yeet here. Welcome back. It has been quite a long time. I got myself a new job, so it has been kicking my behind lately, but I'm enjoying it. I know I haven't posted content in a while. I also went on vacation, so please forgive me. But I'm back with something really special. So, from the last time I recorded, I'm pretty sure it was a Draco Tail video. That got hit, a ban list happened, and Chaos Origins came out, and I had pre-ordered a bunch of stuff from it. And honestly, this is gonna be my first profile for Chaos Origins, and I know I missed a bunch of my other videos. Like I never got a chance to upload my Medius or my Elf Note, Art Mage, Doomsy. I didn't get a chance to update or upload any of that stuff. I've just been super busy. But I'm coming with you with this one specifically. I'm making time here early in the morning, specifically because I just won with this deck, which is Sacred Beasts, Ritual of Light and Darkness, Fiendsmith, 60 card pile. I went undefeated yesterday. Granted, it was a small locals, but my players that I faced were not newbies, and they were playing great decks. Sure, it wasn't like branded. I faced Ritual of Light and Darkness Azamina, round 1. And by the way, I never won a single dice roll. Every single dice roll I lost, and they ended up making me go second. First round I faced Ritual of Light and Darkness Azamina. He was playing the Pharaonic Guardian anti-spell fragrance version with the quartet, and you know, if you know what I'm talking about, like Xena sending the Pharaonic Guardian, which is this card, Pharaonic Advent, sorry. And he used that to set up anti-spell fragrance. In game 2, I faced Ritual and Light and Darkness Invoked, which was a surprise combination. I will admit, Aeons gave me trouble, and it came down to game 3. But I won by the snick of there because he couldn't crack my board that I had made in game 3. He came really close though, but he couldn't put the kill me for game, so he ended up giving me the win. But to be fair, he would not have been even though he wouldn't have been able to kill me, I had enough resources to crack his board. I almost guarantee it. And then for the last round, I faced Archmage Power Patron, which this person has beat me plenty of times before with other decks that I was like just fooling around with. But I dominated him with this matchup. Like, it wasn't even a contest. And, yeah, I got my first winner's pack, which this is a new thing that Konami has done now. And here's the proof. I should have kept the wrapper, but here it is. The OTS 1-for-1. Granted, it's not Harmonia or, like, something crazy cool, like a Peruli or anything like that. Or it's just a 1-for-1. So, it could have been a lot better, but... And I'm never probably going to use this specific 1-for-1 because I like my chick, the Sonic chick on it more. But still, it's a nice card to have. The fact that I have the OTS symbol, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyways, this is the winning deck list, and it's great against decks. Definitely takes into great consideration against Ritual of Light and Darkness Azamina, even though this deck does play Ritual of Light and Darkness itself. But I'll explain to you guys my card choices and what the cards do. So, and then I'll probably go through a combo at the end. So this is going to probably be a longer video, so I'm sorry about that, but I really love this deck, so I'm a little bit excited about it. So let's get right into it. If you guys going to enjoy, leave a like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's start with the main deck. Starting off with the monsters, we are playing 3 copies of Raviel, Lord of Phantasms, Infinity of the Sacred Beasts. technically his official name is Infinity of the Sacred Beast - Raviel, Lord of Phantasms, but I'm so used to pronouncing them like they are original cards. Like it was literally Raviel, Lord of Phantasms. So I'm used to pronouncing him Raviel, Lord of Phantasm, Infinity of the Sacred Beasts. So with this one, all three of the, it's for a quick knowledge background, Sacred Beasts are basically the GX versions of the Egyptian god cards. There's Raviel, Uriah, and Haman. If you watch the anime, you would know that Uriah is summoned by tributing 3 continuous traps. Haman is summoned by tributing 3 continuous spells, and Raviel is summoned by tributing 3 fiend monsters. Now, they kind of had that same idea brought to this, except they use it as a search engine. So what Raviel here does is that none of them can be normal summoned or set. They have to be special summoned within a Sacred Beast card. So every one of them can reveal themselves in the hand and then add a card and then discard a card based off of their type. So Raviel here will search a monster, a Sacred Beast monster, and then discard 1 card. And then obviously you can pretty much guess that Haman can reveal for the spell and then pitch a card, and Uriah can reveal for a trap and then pitch a card. But there's more to this guy than just that. And I have used this effect actually twice already, at least that. It is once per turn, quick effect. You can tribute 2 other Sacred Beast monsters, destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. And if you do, this card gains 1,000 attack for each destroyed. It can get big. I have gotten this guy to 9k before. It was stupid. On a other side note, I'm currently looking for the Starlight versions of these cards. If you have a Starlight version of these or the Hamans, which I'm going to show next, please message me in the comments. I would like to buy them off of you. Speaking of Haman, we have 3. Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder, the Calamity of the Sacred Beasts. As I already mentioned, this is the one that searches the spell. You add a Sacred Beast spell from your deck to your hand and then discard a card. And Haman's secondary effect is once per turn, and this is a mandatory effect. Like it says, it's not a you can. It's basically like, think of it like it is immediately applied. So as soon as it happens, it just triggers. Like I don't even have a choice in the matter unless it's negated. And that is if a monster is sent to the opponent's graveyard, the Haman deals 1,000 damage to them, which is really good. And also, this card has a battle and card effect. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect, I take no damage for the rest of the turn. So it is great for holding back pushes. So basically, they have to banish it. If they don't banish it or tribute over it, I'm not taking any damage the rest of the turn. Super good card. This card, it gives me access to also one of my other favorite monsters. Like this goes back to like one of my first fusion Yu-Gi-Oh videos. But carrying on, I don't play not 1, but I play 2 Uriah, and I have my Starlights of Uriah already, which by the way look absolutely gorgeous in here. The new Starlights that Konami is doing with these, bruh, they are gorgeous. Look at that shine. Look at that shine. And the artwork for these are great. So here's my reason for Uriah. So first, I understand that Uriah is probably the worst one out of the new Sacred Beasts. I understand. I heard your complaints. I've heard your comments. I've also heard everybody else from locals or anybody else I've talked to about the deck say that you should only play 1 minimum Uriah. If I didn't play the second Uriah in my one game, I would have lost. And because they were playing the back row deck, they had banished the one of them from the graveyard, and I needed the Uriah to pop a card. Because Uriah's secondary effect, first off, it gains 1,000 attack and defense for each trap card in the graveyards. Doesn't matter if it's continuous, counter, normal, it gains 1,000. So this guy, at least just based off of my deck alone, can get up to 5,000. Just simply because of the amount of traps, just because of the amount of the traps I play. But at least think about nowadays, the people are going to be playing stuff like Imperm, Mind Shuffle, for Ritual of Light and Darkness stuff. So yeah, this guy can get pretty big. But really what I'm talking about for the pop effect is his other effect. And that is a once per turn quick effect. So it can happen during either player's turn. I target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it. And the best part is that neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation, which is gorgeous. So if they set something that I know they're about to activate, I can quick effect chain Uriah to pop it, like a set off of Thrust, or they just activated the Sky Column for Blitzqueak. I can pop that before it goes live. I could use this guy to pop Anti-Spell Fragrance, which is what I did to win against that matchup. Yeah, I just like Uriah a lot. And I'm also not, if I have 2 Starlights, there's no reason I'm not going to play 2. Like, I want to showcase the Starlights. So that's my other reason for playing 2. But yeah, I wouldn't change this. I like them a lot. Next, we have 2 copies of Summoner of the Sacred Beasts. Now, if you guys know the artwork, then you probably will look familiar if you like old Yu-Gi-Oh! Like me from 2010, Edison format. It is the Creator, which was summoned off of the Creator Incarnate. By tributing itself, you could special summon the Creator, which was like discard a card and summon it back. Now, this one here is a really, really good one. This guy's got 3 effects, and each one of them can be used once a turn. So, the first one is in the hand, you reveal him, discard a card, which, by the way, you can discard himself. Summon a Sacred Beast monster except a level 8 from your hand in defense position. That's the first effect. The second effect, while he's on the field, you can discard 1 card and special summon a Sacred Beast monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position except a level 8. Or the discarded card. So you can't discard Raviel and then summon that same Raviel from the graveyard. You cannot do that. You can banish this card from your graveyard. This is the last effect. To special summon 1 Sacred Beast monster from your graveyard in defense position, except the level 8. All 3 of these effects are fantastic. And I've used, like, the fact that they're each once per turn is just so good. And in certain matchups, you need the second one. The other reason why he's in here is because it's a Thunder, and it just helps to get us to one of our boss monster, which is on one of our typical end boards. I've seen some people play at 1, and if that works for you, congratulations. I just prefer having it at 2, especially if I get trolled. It just helps me put out a better end board. Next up, we're playing 3 copies of Martyr of the Sacred Beasts. I'm pretty sure you, Bell, played this one in the season of GX or something similar to that, aside from Chaos Core. I could be mistaken. But this one here, first off, if you wanted to, you could actually do Yummy Sacred Beast because of the fact that this is the level 1 and you just need a level 1 Link 1 monster. So Link Rebo or Anima, and you could go full Yummy combo if you really wanted to. But that is an engine I'm not even considering yet at the moment because I'm enjoying this one too much. So what Martyr does, first off, he has 2 effects. The first one, if this card is normal or special summon, I can place a Sacred Beast, field, continuous spell, or a continuous trap from my deck face up on my field, which already is amazing. Not having to search it just lets me do better things. Like it can set up my Book of Moon via the trap. It can get me my field spell. It can set up the continuous spell Thunderclap, which is the god spell of this deck. If Thunderclap wasn't a card, Thunderclap, it just turns this deck in gas mode. I love it. My dog is going crazy. I apologize if you hear that. So, the second effect of Martyr is if you have another Sacred Beast monster on your field, you can special summon 2 more copies of Martyr from your deck and or graveyard. From your hand, deck, and or graveyard. And during your opponent's end phase, if I have this card and a level 10 Sacred Beast monster in the graveyard, I can add this card to the hand. However, this effect can only be used once per turn. Well, all the effects can only be used once per turn. So even if you have all 3 Martyrs in the graveyard, you'll only be able to add back 1 to the hand. But then again, you're going to be able to summon the other 2 back from the graveyard. Except if one of them is banished. Since it says you have to summon 2, it can't be up to 2. So if you have this and then one other spice on the field, you cannot use the effect because you have to summon exactly 2. But this card is great. Next up, I'm going to go into the second engine of this deck, and that is Fiendsmith. So we have this engine has been showcased on my channel many a times. I'm playing 2 copies of Fiendsmith Engraver and 1 copy of Lacrima of the Crimson Tears. I don't have to explain this. Fiendsmith's been around for a while. I have posted many videos of Fiendsmith before. If you've been around for any of those, or this engine is pretty straightforward, to be honest. And then I play, obviously, the 1 copy of Lurie, which is the honorary Fiendsmith monster. This card actually comes up pretty decent because you can discard him off of the Sacred Beast effects, and it will trigger. And it's not once per turn either if he's discarded, by the way. It's just say discard to the graveyard, summon it. So you can usually summon back Lurie again. Yeah. By the way, both the Sacred Beast and the Fiendsmith version can connect to each other. If I start with just nothing from Fiendsmith, I can get myself into Sacred Beast. If I start with Sacred Beast, I can bridge myself into Fiendsmith. And that's really it for the Fiendsmith engine. Now off to the really, really good engine. This engine I'm so hyped about, and a lot of people are loving this engine right now for good reason. It is beautiful, and it is just nostalgia to the T. I'm talking about the Ritual of Light and Darkness archetype. So start off with that. We play 1 copy of the new copy of Magician of Dark Chaos, Black Chaos, and 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Light and Darkness. I am still looking for my extended versions, but I got 3 of each of the regular URs from the deck core that I pre-ordered. And anyways, so these guys both have some great effects. So let's start with Magician of Dark Chaos, Black Chaos. Sorry for my lighting. So you can ritual summon this card with Light and Darkness Ritual. It is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects unless they target this card. Also, spell and trap cards I control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects. So, first off, it's like a walking Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Protecting background. Great card. Not being activated, unaffected by activated effects unless they target it. I'll grant some things do target in this format, but it's still a great protection to have. Already, it's a great card. Also, spells and... I read about that effect already, sorry. Magician of Dark Chaos. You can only use each of the following effects of Magician of Dark Chaos, Black Chaos, once per turn. And that is, if this card is special summoned, you can add 1 spell from your graveyard to your hand. So you get your resources back, which is great. And then the other effect is just I can target 1 card my opponent controls and banish it face down. So it's like a walking Kashtira Fenrir in that sense. All of that, fantastic card. Now, you're probably going to ask, why am I not playing more than 1? For 1, deck count. 2, there's many ways to get it back to your hand. Now the Black Luster Soldier, which seriously, the artwork, I've loved the Black Luster Link monster for a long time. That's just gas. So the Black Luster monster, you can ritual summon this card with Light and Darkness Ritual. It is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects unless they target this card, which is pretty much the same thing as Dark Chaos. Also, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Awesome! You can only use each of the following effects of Black Luster Soldier, Soldier of Light and Darkness once per turn. If this card is special summoned, I can target one card my opponent controls and banish it. Now, believe it or not, you can actually summon this during your opponent's turn because of the Trap Mind Shuffle, which we'll get to later. You can summon the ritual monsters from your hand, ignoring their summoning conditions. So, like, I could bounce back. Well, get to the. I guess I'll explain it later. But just saying, I can summon this during my opponent's turn, and it acts as like an interruption. Its other effect is when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, I can make this card gain 1500 attack, and it gains a second. It can make a second attack in a row. So, very good for pushing, and in general, just good for removal. And like I said, you only need one of each. Now, this next card is broken, and I'm guaranteeing this card is it is going everywhere right now, and it is also one of the sickest cards I have seen in a long time. If Dark Chaos wasn't enough, we got a new effect monster, Chaos. We have this Black Chaos. When I pre-ordered this core, this card was at $60, and I'm almost positive the card has jumped significantly from $60 now. I'm pretty sure the Starlight version of this is like over 100 at the moment. I'll check real quick for you. Reload. Okay, no. I thought it had risen more than that, and I'm surprised it's not. It is actually still at the same price. Black Chaos is still around $60. The Starlight, though, that is up to $174.48, which is ridiculous. The extended Magician of Dark Chaos, $72. The Starlight Magician of Dark Chaos, get ready for this one, $520. Stupid. And the extended Black Luster, is $50. So they're pretty about like same price range. Now, why is Black Chaos so broken? So, first off, this card also cannot be normal summon or set and must be special summoned from your hand by shuffling one spellcaster or warrior ritual monster from your hand or graveyard into the deck. That's where the other copies of these come in, why you don't need to play more than one, because you literally just put them back into the deck. You can only special summon Black Chaos once per turn this way. You can discard this card, place one continuous trap that mentions Light and Darkness Ritual from your deck or graveyard face up on your field. First off, there's only one at the moment, which is currently Mind Shuffle. The fact that it says this tells me that they're probably going to release more cards for this archetype in the future. And while I have a ritual spell in my graveyard, it does not just have to be Light and Darkness Ritual. This card is unaffected by opponent's activated effects. And once per turn during your main phase, I can banish 2 cards my opponent controls. Non-targeting, by the way. Everything I just read screamed amazing card. Just being able to banish non-targeting 2 cards. Great removal. set up your whole engine for this thing. Like, literally, this is a 1-card starter. I can just ditch this, do Mind Shuffle, and just bait out every last one of my opponent's hand traps before I even get to my Sacred Beast or Fiendsmith combo. It's just a good card. I can't say anything else about it. Next up, we have kind of like the other good starter of this deck, and this card is what I've done to start my plays during my opponent's turn. And that is 3 copies of Griffo. Even though this looks like a Karibo, it unfortunately does not count as a Karibo card, so it can't be used in the Karibo deck, which is kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. So this guy has the quick effect of discarding itself to activate one of the following effects. Either I can make the next battle or effect damage I take 0, or I can set a quick play spell or trap that mentions Light and Darkness Ritual from my deck, and it can be activated this turn. So I'll just read the last effect as well. You can only use this effect of Griffo once per turn, and if you ritual summon exactly 1 level 8 ritual monster with a card effect that requires use of monsters, this card can be used as the entire tribute, which is just great. Now, back to what I was saying. The Griffo, what you do is you discard Griffo, and then which is the quick effect. So as soon as my opponent is about to end his turn, he's done through everything, I'm going to use the effect to set and then immediately activate, so you cannot ghost ogre it, and use the Mind Shuffle's effect to add and then discard a card, which is just great for getting the engine started. And yeah, the other card which I'm about to talk about is, I know for a fact this card is going to get banned. It's too good of a card. If you're seeing all the other original ones, we're probably going to talk about Yugi cards more. So, 2 copies of the new Summon Skull, which is called Skull Archfiend of Chaos. Now, why is this card so damn broken for a super rare? Well, let's just start with the first effect, and you'll probably guess it from there. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target 3 other cards in the graveyards and or face-up banishment, including a card that mentions Light and Darkness Ritual, and place them on the bottom of the deck in any order. First off, that means either player's graveyard. So if they're playing a graveyard deck, I can put their cards back into the deck, for one. I could also put my resources back into the deck. As long as I have a card that mentions Light and Darkness Ritual, which means the Griffo, the Black Chaos, the Ritual Monster, the Ritual Spell, Mind Shuffle. Another copy of Black Skull Archfiend. Like, what the heck? This is probably one of the better summons I've seen in a long time. It's also a level 6 Fiend. You can make Wave King Caesar with this thing. It's just that effect on its own is phenomenal. After you put those cards at the bottom of the deck, you special summon this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard, doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter if it's discarded from the hand through a cost, doesn't matter if it's through Foolish Burial, or destroyed by battle, card effect, or tributed over, super poly it away, you can send 1 ritual spell from your hand or deck to the graveyard to add 1 ritual monster whose name is mentioned on that card from your deck to the hand. Fun fact, people are even using this card in Mitsurugi, because it doesn't specifically say Light and Darkness Ritual, you just send the Mitsurugi mirror and then add Habakiri from your deck to your hand, which is just every road leads to Habakiri from Mitsurugi. And then, yeah. It's just ridiculous. And the one card which I'm honestly thinking about taking out, but at the time I was building the deck, which, by the way, I literally just went to the locals right from work. I didn't even have my gray deck, my gray multi-container with me. I just had a few, the cards I was playing around testing-wise, and that was it. I didn't have a whole lot of things to work with for my deck, but I still managed to go undefeated, which was the 1 copy of Celtic Mystic. In hindsight, I probably should have taken this out for a 2nd copy of the next card, which was actually in my side deck, and then put it in my a copy of Chaos Magical Hats, which is this card, in the side deck to replace that card. But I decided to play Celtic Mystic. I'll just explain Mystic's effect real quick. If he's normal or special summon, you reveal an entire hand. And if you reveal a card that mentions Light and Darkness Ritual, I draw 3, then discard 2. Essentially, it becomes Graceful Charity. At the drawback of, after you've done this, you can only special summon 1 more time from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. He has another effect, though, which is tributing himself to ritual, special summon 1 ritual monster that mentions Light and Darkness Ritual from your hand. Basically, ignoring the ritual. So, yeah. But it's nice it's nice because it's also a 2,000 defense, which none of the Celtic Guardians before had a high defense like that. And the last monster we have in this deck, which is the card I would rather play a second copy of over the Celtic Mystic, is 1 copy of Farah the Primordial Goddess. This card was MVP. By the way, I only had 1 copy of this card going to a tournament, but I managed to get 2 more immediately after the tournament, and actually pulled 1 for a prize, so I literally have 4 now. Farah has the ability of revealing this card and 1 spell or trap in my hand until the end of the turn. Until the end of the next turn, neither player can activate cards or effects in response to the activation. Can't read. To the activation of cards or effects of cards with the revealed spell and trap's name. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard by a spell or trap effect, you can special summon this card. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can take control of 1 monster your opponent controls with the highest attack, your choice if tied. You can only use each effect of Farah the Primordial Guardians once per turn. It is a 28/28 monster. This card is ridiculous. You basically reveal this card, something like evenly matched. They can't respond to evenly matched. They can't negate evenly matched. And then you could do the same thing for one of the Sacred Beast spells, so they can't stop it. They can't draw and Lockbird it. They can't, well, they can actually technically draw and lock after the ad for the card, but they can't, like, Ash Blossom it. Because it's not applicable. This card is just great. Basically lets me guarantee going on plays safely. Via spells, anyway. Like I said, though, that is the last of the monsters we are playing in this deck. It's a big monster count, but every single one of them is utilized very well in this deck. Let me put these to the side here, and then I'll get right onto the spells. For the spells, we're starting off with the Sacred Beast spells, and probably the better of the Sacred Beast spells. If this card didn't exist, I don't think this deck would be that great. And that is 3 copies of Sacred Beast Thunderclap. Now, what makes this card so good? At first glance, it just looks like a common trap. What it does, though, is set up resources and for a necessary card. Thunderclap doesn't do anything on placement. What it has, though, is during the main phase, you can place 2 Sacred Beast Thunderclaps from your hand, deck, and or graveyard face up on your field. If one of these gets banished by like an opponent's copy of the Luster Soldier, unfortunately, that does become dead, but that is another reason why we're playing the Skull, so we can put it back in the deck if that does happen. Which has happened once. This is also all 1 effect. They face up on the field. Then, in the same effect, you can reveal a level 10 Sacred Beast monster in your hand and place 1 copy of the Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast, which is the next card I will be showcasing, just so people understand it. Face up on your field, and which is just great, first off. So that's immediately getting the field spell and 3 resources. During your opponent's end phase, if this card is in the graveyard, I can add this card to the hand. I can only use each of the effect of Sacred Beast Thunderclap once per turn. So, even though the other 2 will be in the graveyard, you can instantly get them back. The resource pushback for this deck is actually ridiculous. You get Thunderclap back. You get Martyr back. It's just insane resource management. Like, I feel like I never run out of gas for this deck. I guess I'll do them at the end. I forgot to put the hand traps. I put the hand traps to the side. I'm sorry. I'll do the hand traps after. I'll do the hand traps at the end after the traps. So, field spell. we have 2 copies of Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beasts, which, by the way, if you can't tell, by the way, these are all Euro. Up to thrice per turn. During your main phase, you can send 3 other cards of the same type, monster, spell, or trap. Does not have to be effect monster, normal like it doesn't have to be all 3 effect monsters. It just has to be monster. So it can be an effect monster, a normal monster, and a ritual monster, for say. From your hand and or face-up field to the graveyard. So you cannot use this effect if you are under Shifter or Dimension Barrier. Not Barrier, Fissure, excuse me. To the graveyard, and then special summon 1 Sacred Beast monster from your hand, deck, graveyard, or banishment. And if you do, it is unaffected by your opponent's activated spell and trap effects, which means they cannot, like, Dark Hole hit, they can't Forbidden Crown it, they can't fuse it away with Super Polymerization. And with this, you technically don't have to play then the other, like, multiple copies of the big guys, but you just need them because it's great for consistency reasons. And actually the other Sacred Beast card technically requires you to have multiple names, so that's another reason why we are playing a bunch of them. Now, another thing is I've seen people only play 1 of this in the regular format and 2 in the Genesis format. This is not a Genesis deck. I don't even have any Genesis tournaments in my area. What this is good for is if I get Drolled, I'd rather have the chances of opening it. And if I know my opponent has played Droll, instead of searching Thunderclap off of Haman, I will search the copy of Paradise to play around Droll and Lockbird. If I have seen it in a previous game before, I will instantly know to do that in the next games. The last effect is if I have a Sacred Beast monster whose original level is 10, which all the big guys, Uriah, Raphael, and Haman are, I can draw 2 cards. And it's like a Pot of Greed. I can only use that effect, though, of Fallen Paradise the Sacred Beast once per turn. This card does everything for me. It makes my end boards ridiculous. It sets up pushes. It sets up bodies. It gives me resource backs. Like, what the heck? Like, this card is just insane. And the last Sacred Beast spell card we play is 3 technically named Sacred Beast card, spell card, is 3 copies of Sacred Beast Released. This card is basically Graceful Charity. It lets you add 3 Sacred Beast monsters with different names from your deck to your hand and then discard any 2 cards from your hand. Essentially, that's why we have Summoner. We have Uriah, Haman, Raviel, Martyr. Any one of those, add any 3 of those with different names. So if you already opened 2, you can instantly get access to the other names. If this card resolves, I'm usually going full combo. If I will use this first if I open it, simply because if I get Drolled after that point, I'll at least end on a semi-decent board. It won't be fantastic, especially because I would literally get I won't be able to use their main effects in hand, but I'll like keep Martyr and like maybe Uriah in hand, and then I'll have discarded like Summoner and Haman in the graveyard, because I most likely will have searched released. Hopefully I'll have searched. Oh, I can't search released if I'm under Droll. I will have used the effect of Summoner to summon Haman from the graveyard, and then I will normal summon Martyr, put 2 copies, copy of the trap face up, which we'll get to later, and 2 more of the trap. And then Martyr effect to summon 2 more. And then I will basically try to go to like SP or Maybe I can go to my Fiendsmith combo just to get some kind of end board out. So it's not like this deck is weak against roll. You can play through roll if you have the stuff to play through it. It's not impossible. Yes, it does make your board suboptimal. It's not like the worst thing to end up in the world though. Like it's still pretty good. It's not like ending up on 10 negates like you can do with the other board, with the real end board, but it's still pretty good. Then the honorary Sacred Beast spell card, which it doesn't have the word Sacred Beast in itself. This card drove me nuts trying to find because I didn't have any copies at first. And this card went up from a rocket from 17 cents to about $10 now. And that is Card of the Soul. Straight up Yugi card. Look at your deck, and if you do, add one monster from your deck to your hand whose sum of attack and defense equals your life points. You can only activate one Card of the Soul per turn. Each one of these cards is another copy of Raviel and Hamon, because they are both 4,000, 4,000, and you start with 8,000. This card is a starter for Sacred Beasts, and that is the reason why this card is in here. For consistency, I love this card. I just can't say anything else about it. I love this card. It even got to the point one time where I was able to add like the Black Chaos because I was at 55. If you know your like the attack points of your monsters like pretty well and you know how to do math, you could use this card to search a lot of things, to be honest with you. But going first, second, as long as I have no life points taken, first thing I'm doing is searching my big boys. Continuing off with the rest of the spells, we have one copy of Fiendsmith's Tract for the Fiendsmith engine, one copy of Called by the Grave, which is a powerhouse card, and then the Ritual spell, which is for Light and Darkness Ritual, which is the spell Light and Darkness Ritual for itself. Now, there is a cool thing about this card. This card has the ability to, if this card is in the graveyard, you can add this card and one card that mentions Light and Darkness Ritual from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Light and Darkness Ritual once per turn. So that's the only reason why we play one. Simply put, because you can return it to the deck with a skull. You can add it back from the graveyard to your hand. So it sucks though if you get Ghost Spell though. I will be honest. It's just a good card. I can't say anything else about this. This card is ridiculous. This engine in general is ridiculous. And then on to the traps, and then I'll go over the hand traps, which make the deck the 60 cards, by the way. Let's just, since we're already on the topic of Light and Darkness Ritual, let's start off with the 2 copies of Mind Shuffle. I kind of hinted at this card earlier in the video. Mind Shuffle, either player's turn, add one monster that mentions Light and Darkness Ritual from your deck to hand, and then discard one card. You can only use this effect of Mind Shuffle once per turn. When your opponent activates a card effect, you can return one level 7 or higher monster you control to the hand. Special summon one monster that mentions Light and Darkness Ritual from your hand with a different name than the return monster. Ignoring summoning conditions, your opponent, you cannot activate these effects on Mind Shuffle in the same chain. That effect is not once per turn. If you have, like in rotation, the Blackluster and the Magician of Dark Chaos, you can bounce them back as many times as you want, or you could bounce back something like, since the Sacred Beasts are level 10, I could bounce back one of them to my hand so I know I have that access to me for next turn to go off with their plays. And the reason why we play 2, for ours, I've had this card get banished a couple of times. And I want to be able to set it off the deck, because I believe you cannot... Yeah, with Griffo, you cannot set the Mind Shuffle directly from the deck. Same thing with Chaos, is you can place one continuous trap that mentions Light and Darkness Ritual from your deck or graveyard. So, as long as, like, you can't place it from the hand. So I want to immediately activate it. And there have been times where I've opened up this card and I just said, no, at this point, I'm just going to play a second copy of it. Not just because I can, but because it's just that important in the deck. Onto the Sacred Beast traps. We have 3 copies of the continuous trap Abyss of the Sacred Beasts. I talked about this card a little bit earlier, which is the one I summoned off of Martyr, and people will say this card is a brick. I'll admit, if I'm not going first, I will side this card out, simply because it's just terrible going second. But what the power of this card is just like the Thunderclap, you can put 2 more copies of this from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up on the field. You can send 3 face up Abyss of the Sacred Beast I control to the graveyard, including this card, then target 1 face up monster my opponent controls and change it to face down defense position. So it's like a Book of Moon at the cost of 3. So it's a good interruption if I'm going first. However, most of the time it's going to end up in the graveyard. During the main... I just said that effect. Sorry. But yeah, you can only use each of the following effects of Abyss of the Sacred Beast once per turn, so... That effect... It's unfortunate that it's like that, though, but it is what it is. And the last card, which was honestly the card that was the saving grace, and I honestly really want to play this at 2, but I just don't have the deck count room for it. And that's 1 copy of Sacred Beast Combined Assault. Now, the first effect is good, but I barely used that effect. I don't even think I used that effect once yesterday. And that is special summoning 1 Sacred... the effect I didn't use is special summoning 1 Sacred Beast monster from a hand or a graveyard in defense position. Then if you control 2 or more Sacred Beast monsters who original level are 10, I can negate the effects of 1 face card my opponent controls, and if you do, destroy it. What I did use, though, the most is banishing this card from your graveyard to fusion summon 1 Phantasm Fusion monster from my X deck, using monsters from your hand or field. However, this card has an errata, and you can also banish monsters from your graveyard if you're summoning for the summon of a Phantasm. Like, to give it to example point, the chaotic Phantasmal Sacred Beast is what the actual card name is. The Euro copies of the Sacred Beast Phantasm does not say Phantasmal. It just says the chaotic Sacred Beast, and I have Euro copies of that to prove it. Yeah, you won't notice it. Like the same thing happened with Fairy Tale Tales. Like they turned Tales to Talils, so you can search it. Yeah, I promise you that is the case. Like I had a judge even if you couldn't banish from the graveyard, there's so many ways of getting it on the banishing from the field. Like you don't even need it half the times, but it is still a good card. So if that ever errata got undone, or I'm talking out my behind here, it wouldn't matter in it wouldn't matter in the slightest. Like I still pretty sure I just used some banishing the monsters from the hand or field. I maybe once banished from the graveyard. Maybe once. Like I said, though, that's it for the traps. Now let's quickly go over the hand traps that I missed earlier. It's pretty straightforward, and I won't explain the exact effects. I main deck 3 copies of Fuwalos, 3 Ash, 3 Ogre, which is a great card in this format, broken, and 2 copies of Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion for, I guess, mirror matches, anything that's Fiends, Azamina related, even Light and Darkness Ritual for the Skull. Yeah, it's just or against Mr. Rugi. This card is just a good card. So, yeah. Pretty straightforward in that sense. Let's go on to the extra deck. And then I will go over the side deck. And then I'll do a combo for you guys at the end. Or maybe I'll make that a separate video to make the video shorter. So for the extra deck, the boss monster. We have 1 copy of the Chaotic Phantasmal Sacred Beasts. In a pure version, I would usually play 2 copies of this card. Why I'm only playing 1 in this? Simply put, I can put it back to the deck with Skull if it somehow ever got banished, which does happen. So, and by the way, I'm also looking for the extended art of this card. If somebody has it, same thing, mention, comment down below, and I will get to you as soon as I possibly can. So what you do is with this card, it takes 3 level 10 monsters that cannot be normal or summoned or set. Doesn't have to be the Phantasms. So, and I know there are other level 10s that cannot be done, so you can use those if you get them on the field. It must either be fusion summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by sending the above cards you control to the graveyard. Like, instantaneously, it's so easy to get the 3 on the board. Like, you literally do it, like, not even thinking. It's so easy to put this on the board. You can only special summon the Chaotic Phantasmal Sacred Beast once per turn this way, no matter which method you use. The first 2 times this card on the field would be destroyed by card effect each turn, it is not. So, that's good on its own already. Once per chain, up to 3 times per turn, I can quick effect target 1 face-up monster my opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn, and gain life points equal to half of that monster's attack. It's also a 5,000 attack and defense monster. This card is ridiculous. This card won me 4 of my games yesterday out of the best of 3s. It is stupid. And thank you to Andrew, who I managed to did beat, and was also a great game. That could have been crazy at Endeavor as well. For giving me a copy of the English version that have the actual Phantasmal in its name, so I didn't have to keep explaining the errata to them. So my Euros are currently sitting in the binder. For the rest of the fusion monsters, let's just talk about my favorite card. Like, this is the throwback card. 1 copy of Thunder Dragon Colossus. This is the same ulti that I had pulled ages ago, and is still one of my favorite decks of all time. This card is so easy to summon this deck, and is what makes this end board so disgusting. Your Haman is a Thunder, and it does activate in hand. Same thing with the Summoner. So either one of those activate, you reveal in the hand. If you get either one of them on the field, which is, again, super easy to do, you tribute it, you get Colossus. It's that simple. That's how you get the draw and lock bird kind of thing on your opponent's thing. The only exception is drawing cards. They can still draw cards, like off of Triple Tactics Talent, or Pot of Sloth, which is another card that is fantastic right now. But yes, also, and the fact that you have the Thunders in your graveyard just means you have more protection that way. This card is great, and I will always forever love this card. Even if it gets banned again, I'll never get rid of this card. Rest of the fusion stuff is literally strictly for Fiendsmith. We play the 1 copy of Necroquip Princess, the 1 copy of Fiendsmith's Lacrima, 1 copy of Desiree, and the card that you can use to bridge into the Sacred Beast is the copy of Aerial Eater. I'll specifically show that combo later, or in my separate video. So this card hasn't been seen in a while, but it basically is a Foolish Burial for Fiend monsters. For the Link monsters, we obviously have the Fiendsmith triple threat, which is Augumday, Sequence, and Requiem. Pretty straightforward. And the 1 card that can actually turn and bridge this Sacred Beast to Fiendsmith is the 1 copy of Reprodokus. I never thought I would use this card for it being a common. I had it for a long time, but it just never really just did anything because it's a dinosaur. But this card is mandatory for this deck. Because you're playing stuff like Martyr, which is Dark Fiend, if you use 2 of your other Martyrs to put this in under the column of your other Martyr and declare a light attribute, then your Martyr becomes Light Fiend, and you can instantly use it to summon Requiem, and then go full Fiendsmith combo. Done it so many times, it was cracked every single time I did it. Last card, Link monster-wise, is 1 copy of Anima. You can replace this card with Link Crew if you so choose. I just chose Anima simply because, like, it's nice to suck up another body, force an interruption out. You could also replace Anima with SP Little Knight. I just found that the level 1, get rid of it just to clear a body of the board is more important, though, and comes out more than the Little Knight. If you wanted to play Little Knight, you could take this, or you could take out one of the Xyz monsters I get to later for the Little Knight. Onto the Xyz monsters. One copy of the other end board boss monster, which is Varudris, the Final Bringer of End Times, which, to be honest, might as well be a Sacred Beast card. It has the red, yellow, and blue. It literally just looks like the Sacred Beast kind of formed. This card's been out for a while, but it's basically a pop interruption, like activate a card, pop, and then detach, pop another card. It can be played with 2 or more level 10 monsters. I typically only make it with 2. If you had all 3, you could do with it, but that's just an extra resource that you'd rather not get rid of. And you only need this card to stick around for maybe 1 turn, because after that, you're basically killing him. And the other level 10, which is the one I could say you could take out for the Little Knight if you want to. I just played it because I thought I need it for like just an extra push to push for game for just there, which is the 1 copy of Super Dreadnought Railkin and Gustav Max to burn for 2k. And then the other 2 Xyz monsters, obviously the 1 copy is the Wave King Caesar for the Fiendsmith, and the other card which is used for Fiendsmith, which helps me bridge into Sacred Beast, is the Constellar Ptolemy M7. Now, this card, I'll be honest, didn't cross my mind, and I have to thank one of the YouTubers that I watch for actually putting me on this card, but I'm so glad they did. Basically, it just takes 292 generic level 6s. The reason why this card is here is if once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, target 1 monster on the field or in either graveyard, and return that target to the hand. What you do is you use Aerial Eater, send the either Martyr or the Raviel from your deck to the graveyard off of the Aerial Eater, and then you will use the Aerial Eater plus the Lacrima to summon the Ptolemy, and use Ptolemy detached to add the targeted Raviel or Martyr back to your hand. Or you could use it to put something else back. Like I used this card to put back my opponent's Aeon, invoked Aeon, back into the extra deck and attack them for game. Every single last one of these cards was great. The only thing that I actually didn't summon was Dreadnought, and like I said, unless if you know you can use this for a burn time, I don't know. I'd just rather have it than not have it. But at the same time, I feel like SP Little Knight could also be a great card to put in here. That's it for the extra deck. Let me quickly go over the side deck with y'all, and then I'll wrap this video up since it's pretty much almost at an hour already, which I apologize, but I'm sorry. There's a lot to talk about in this deck. For the side deck, we got 2 copies of Drone Lockbird. This card's still at 2. I mean, the card's just a win, auto win if you have it against most decks. But it just sucks if you're playing the Purulias. But because this deck sucks against Drone Lockbird, sometimes it's gives me suboptimal. I of course play the Designator package for it. Just so if I draw it, it's great. If not, whatever's. 2 copies of Pot of Sloth. I don't have a third, and I also didn't have the room for one. But this is the broken new Pot of Greed for people who haven't known, and this card is ridiculous. I expect this card to get hit to 1, like Pot of Desire, Pot of Prosperity was. You draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. Then if you drew 2 or more cards, place cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck in any order equal to the number you drew minus 1. For the rest of the turn, after this card's activation resolves, you cannot activate Pot of Sloth. It's basically it's basically Saryuja. I draw cards equal to the number of cards my opponent controls, which fixes my hand, especially in a 60-card deck. Crazy. This card is basically makes 60 cards better. I did play a second copy of Tracked in the side deck just simply because I didn't have my rest of my cards with me. And honestly, it did come up where I sided out the Full House and used this card in the main deck, which just guaranteed me an extra starter, which was actually pretty helpful. Then we have our 1 copy of Triple Tactics Thrust, which in hindsight, I wish I had 2 more copies of this card on me at the time, but I didn't. So it is what it is, but it was nice. I mean, I don't think I drew it though, but I did side it in. Then we have 3 copies of Evenly Matched. This card plus the next card plus Farah is crazy. Now, mind you, I didn't have more than one Pharah at the time, but I got really lucky and opened up Pharah plus evenly matched for the one game. So, yeah, not being able to respond to evenly is crazy. Then I have 3 copies of Molcharmi Perulia, and at the time of this, well, before for the tournament, these 2 copies of Pharah were effect failures, but I have them as Pharahs now, and I actually I don't think I used the effect failure. I might have slided it in, but I never drew it or used it for anything. Like, I don't even think I even drew the card and used the effect of it at all. To be honest with you. But yeah, that's it for the video, guys. I'm sorry this video took a long time, but there's a lot to explain in this deck. I'm definitely going to make a separate video for combos on this deck later. But yeah, I'm so excited to continue playing with this deck. I'm pretty much sure I found my favorite deck of the format right now, until the ban list happens. So yeah, I can't wait to continue playing with this deck, and it's going to be a blast. Thank you guys for tuning into the video. If you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys here on the next one. Peace.